Good evening and welcome to this evening's council meeting. If you'd please stand, Mayor Pro Tem Howie is going to lead us in the flag salute.
Please join us in saluting our great flag. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. We have a very special recognition this evening. We're going to be recognizing the Don Lugo football team for reaching the CIF Division 7 championship game. I'm going to call up three very special people that I'd like to present certificates to, and then we'll be calling up the players. First, I'd like to call up Principal Kimberly Cabrera. Kim, it's a pleasure for me to present you with this recognition for a very, very special, outstanding 2017 football season.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And next, I'd like to call up Athletic Director James Donahoe. Congratulations, and I'd like to present you with the same certificate. And then Head Football Coach Greg Gano. Oh, you're welcome. This is so special, and we thought it was very, very important to invite the football team here this evening to present them with, each of them with a certificate. Come on, move in. Okay. Well, you're going to have to open them for me with one hand. Okay, now as you come up and I present you with the certificate, please line up. I know there's a lot of you, but we'll do it somehow. Maybe somebody has to like kneel down or something. Okay, the first, and these are, I'm going to read how they all read, or read it to you. In recognition, this one is for Justin Beltran, Don Lugo High School. Congratulations for an outstanding 2017 football season presented by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Chino. Thank you very much. Next is Eduardo Castellanos. Castellanos. Congratulations, you're welcome. Andrew Dolan. Congratulations, Andrew. Cooper Daniels. Congratulations, Cooper. You're welcome. Okay, you guys are going to have to move over just a teeny.
Don't block the mayor.
Yeah, I mean, you're big guys, but come on. Jared Duffy. Congratulations, Jared. Jacob Batista. Is he here? Jacob's not here? Okay, we thought he was. Okay, Corey Bentley. Bethley, I did that wrong, huh? Congratulations, Corey. Dakota Ellis. It's going to be challenging to fit them all in. Congratulations. Rudy Garcia. Congratulations. Alberto Livano. Congratulations. Samuel Magadan. Congratulations. Roque Martin? Rocky. Modern spelling. Congratulations. Hector Martinez? Congratulations. Jack McNaughton. Congratulations. Marcos Melendez. Norman Morales. Congratulations. Joseph Murray. Congratulations, you're welcome. Okay. Daniel Mungia. I wouldn't even try that one. Congratulations, Daniel. Derek Partida. Gee, that's a familiar last name. That's a familiar last name. Christopher Randazzo. Another one. Good heavens, Christopher. Okay, those were the names of the ones that checked in. We still have some. Alex Navarro. Eddie Magina. Alex, congratulations. And Parco Lebrano. We won't have that one? Okay, we won't have that one. Okay, congratulations. Okay, you're part of the team. Thank you. Congratulations, you guys. Fantastic job. I'd like to give our three special guests the opportunity to say a few words about these fantastic kids.
I know who's my boss.
Well, as the city of Chino is, we are also very proud of these young men. They are scholar athletes. They have represented Don Lugo very well as one school and one family, and we are so proud that they went all the way to CIF championships. It's quite a feat to even get to that big dance, so we're incredibly proud.
We did forget the milk can. As I was reminded behind me. But we want to thank the city council and for everything tonight. It was a real honor for us to be here tonight. And again, like Dr. Cabrera said, we have Nick Gonzalez as one of our coaches and Alex Roy also right there for us. We appreciate the kids worked hard, and we appreciate everything from the city of Chino. Thank you.
Okay, before you all break up, wait. I'd like the two other coaches to come up here, and I'd like you to form so that the parents can get a big picture of all you. Come on. Here, move in. It's picture time.
You got to get in, huh? Alumni?
One more.
Thank you guys very much. We'll be back next year.
Yeah. We have a bank. Hey, Eunice.
Thank you very much.
Great. Hey, Eunice. The good thing is all the seniors will get credit for government tonight and for economics.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. 2 for 1, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all so much for being here this evening. It's just very exciting. Of course, our chief of police, Karen Comstock, she's a Don Lugo graduate, so she's very proud. One of these days, we're going to make her get up here and do a Don Lugo cheer or something. Okay, our next recognition is our Mayor's Home Beautification Award for February 2018. I'd like to call up Damian Mark Mell. Damian, are you here? Oh, apparently not, and we got the right picture this time. No, it is the right picture. So we'll get the pen to him and the pin and the Mayor's Home Beautification Award. I'm sorry that he wasn't here this evening, but it really is the right picture, honest.
He's going to Oregon, I hear. He's going to be an Oregon duck.
Going to Oregon?
Yeah.
He's going to be a duck?
He's going to be a duck.
Okay.
He'll have to duck.
He'll have to duck.
Yeah.
Poor us.
Okay, so all council members are present. And the item on our agenda next is public communications. This is the time and place on the agenda for the public to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda. And so I invite anyone who would like to speak to come up. We do have Saul Guerrera. He's I'm sorry, Saul, Representative, oh my gosh, Representative Norma Torres. Oh my Lord.
No trouble at
I
all.
was going to
Thank
get through
you.
this night without a goof.
You're fine. Thank you, Mayor, Council, staff, and residents of Chino. Just wanted to present myself. It's been a new year and lots of great issues that have been brought forward with the recent and the previous meeting, but just wanted to introduce myself again. For those who don't know me, I am the liaison for the City of Chino on behalf of Congresswoman Norma Torres. Any federal agencies or casework that we can handle, we will be gladly to be able to assist anyone on those items at our district office in Ontario. And so just again, it's a new year and I just haven't had the opportunity to say hello, so thank you.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Of course.
Excuse me. Oh, okay. Oh, next I would like to call up, thank you. Oh, I've got some Pepsi. I'd like to call up Lawrence Witherspoon from the Fortress Community Church and ask any of you who would like to join us in a word of prayer to stand.
Certainly good to be here, Mayor. Eternal God, we thank you and praise you for this opportunity to come and pray. And we thank you for this mayor and, Lord, for the council that are here today and for the business and the issues that they will hear and decide on today. Give them wisdom and insight as they are impacting this community. Thank you, Father, for our community and for the council and for the thoughts that it has. Father, we give you praise for each member and give them wisdom, understanding regarding the role that they are responsible for, and help them, Lord, to expedite that in a powerful way. Thank you, Lord, for all that has happened thus far. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Lawrence. Okay, we have a tradition here where students that are attending the meeting for either government or English or some kind of school requirement are asked to come up and introduce themselves, say the class that you're taking and your teacher's name and the school you attend. So any students in the audience that are here for credit, please come forward. So you thought you'd sneak out, huh?
Yeah.
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 Hello.
Hello.
So my name is Jacqueline Reagan, and this is Gabby Pagana, Danielle Smano, and Pietro Catini. We are veterinary students at the Western University College of Health Sciences in Pomona, and we are doing a council meeting sit-in for our veterinary ethics issues course.
Well, welcome.
you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lily Beth Hernandez, and I'm here from Don Lugo High School, and I'm here for government, Ms. Carpentier.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Everardo Aguilar. I'm a student at Don Lugo High School. I'm here sitting in at the council meeting for my government class.
And your teacher's name?
Mr. Pope,
Thank you.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Benny Jaime, and also from Don Lugo High School. I'm for my government class too, and I have Mr. Pop as well.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Laura Ramirez, and I'm from Chino High School, and I'm here to attend Student Government Day.
Very good. So we'll see you in a couple of days. Yeah, not too far. Okay, is there anyone else in the audience that needs to address the council on an issue that's not on the agenda? No more students. Okay, then we'll move on. The consent calendar is next. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled? Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
So moved?
Oh, that's right. Our voting thing isn't working. Okay, there's a motion from council, from Mayor Pro Tem Tom Howie, second from Councilman Elrod, and roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Yes.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa.
Yes. Okay, the item
Motion
passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is public hearings. And item number 10, introduction of ordinance number 2018-001, amending Chino Municipal Code Section 2.06.020. Our first action is to open our public hearing, and then I'd like to ask for a staff report from our Assistant City Attorney, William Winder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On the agenda tonight is a piece of cleanup legislation to your councilmanic district ordinance. Your councilmanic district ordinance doesn't address the issue of what councilmanic district annexed territory should come into your city by, and unless we adopt this proposed cleanup measure, it will be necessary every time there is a successful annexation for the council to amend its council district ordinance to identify which district the annexed territory would come into. Subsections B and C of the ordinance add a process which is sanctioned by the Elections Code, by which the council by resolution can identify which district annexed territory should be assigned to. I should also add that the mayor has called to staff's attention, who's called to our attention, that we need to make one other quick change to this draft ordinance. And if the council will look at page 93 on the first page of ordinance number 2018-001 under subsection 2, there appears in the second to the last sentence the word clockwise. And that word should be stricken from the ordinance as a Scrivener's error in its original drafting. And with that, we would recommend that you waive for the reading and introduce ordinance number 2018-001 as amended to address the issue of assigning annexation territories into an appropriate council district.
So moved.
Okay, before we have a motion, I'd like to ask if council have any questions of staff. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, then we will close the public hearing. There's a motion from Councilman Elrod, second from
Second.
Councilman George, and roll call vote, please,
We
Andy.
need to read the ordinance by title, please.
Okay, you do it differently than Fred.
Oh, okay.
That's, no, I guess it's okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Oh,
Quinn.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Ordinance number 2018-001, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending section 2.06.020 as it relates to the adjustment of district boundaries on for introduction and first reading.
Okay, now roll call vote. Sorry.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Yes.
Mayor Uloa.
Yes. Without that amendment, we wouldn't have been in the city. Okay, under new business, item number 11, introduction of ordinance number 2018-002, amending Chino Municipal Code, Chapter 2.36 for the Planning Commission. Our staff report this evening will be provided by Warren Morleone, our city planner.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This next item before you is a request by staff to amend a few sections of Chapter 2.36 of the Chino Municipal Code in an effort to streamline the Planning Commission function. The changes include striking out the section calling for the mayor and city manager to serve as ex officio members of the Planning Commission because that provision is not really needed. The second provision, or the amendment, includes adding a continuation of office provision, allowing members of the commission to continue in office until their successors are appointed. And this is essentially to guarantee that we'll have commissioners in case the council is delayed in appointing new commissioners after their terms end. And finally, extending the term of the Planning Commission chairperson from 1 year to 2 year, and adding a provision for the vice chair to also serve a 2-year term. And generally, that's the practice we currently do at the Planning Commission level. So that would be consistent with our practice. With that, staff recommends that the council approve the introduction of ordinance number 2018-002 to be read by number and title only and waive further reading of the ordinance. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of staff?
Did Walt say to wait until he finished his term before we did that?
Poor Walt.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this issue? Okay, seeing none, then I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Second.
Second from Councilman George, and Mr. Winder will read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, or Madam Mayor, members of the council. Whoops, I'm going to get this
Thanks,
right yet.
I think everybody's
Wow.
tired. Everybody's tired.
Okay, you're allowed one.
Okay, thank you.
That's your one.
Thank you. Ordinance number 2018-002, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending section 2.36.020 and 2.36.030 of the Chino Municipal Code as it relates to the appointment and term of office for the planning commissioners, as well as the term of office for the planning commission chairperson, and that should add and vice chair, should it not?
Yes.
On for introduction and first reading.
Very much. Angela, if you'll call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Yes.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Uloa.
Yes. And the next item is item number 12, award of contract resod Ayala Park Soccer Field number 10. And our staff report this evening will be by Mr. Dave McAbee, our Public Works Services Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. The Public Works Department is responsible for the maintenance of the sports fields at Ayala Park. Scheduled for resodding this year is Ayala Park Soccer Field 10. Specifications were prepared and a request for proposal was properly solicited on December 19th, 2017. On January 8th, 2018, the city received 5 sealed proposals. CSA Holdings Sports Field Services of Ladera Ranch, California, was determined to be the most responsive and responsible proposer, additionally submitting the lowest cost proposal. Therefore, staff recommends awarding a contract to CSA Holdings Sports Field Services in the amount of $174,100. Staff is also requesting authorization to spend up to $17,410 for extraordinary work for a total contract cost not to exceed $191,510. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on this item.
Thank you, David. Are there questions of staff? Okay, Mr. Howie.
Yeah, it amazes me how a soccer field can cost $175,000 for new grass. But the question is, we usually get how many years out of these fields after we resod normally?
Well, these fields are the original fields, so they're 10 and a half years old.
Okay.
So we did 2 fields last year. This year we're doing 1 field. So we've gotten, for the amount of use that these fields get, we've made them last quite some time.
Good. Okay.
Well, that's because the excellent maintenance staff, too, I have to say.
Thank you.
Any other questions of staff or comments? Any comments from the audience? Okay, then a motion would be appropriate. Motion from Councilman Elrod,
Second.
second from Councilman, or Mayor Pro Tem Howie. I always goof that up. George. Councilman George. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Yes.
Mayor Uloa.
Yes. Item number 13, amendment to professional services agreement, capital improvement project services for LAE Associates Incorporated. Our staff report will be provided by Jesus Plasencia, our city engineer.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. On November 15, 2016, the City Council awarded a contract to Local Agency Engineering Associates Incorporated, or LAE for short, in the amount of $247,600 for capital improvement project management services. The purpose of these services was to assist city staff with the design and construction of 35 water main replacement projects located in the northern part of the city. The contract term was for 1 year with the option to extend 2 additional 1-year periods. On November 7, 2017, the City Council approved a contract extension with LAE through June 2018 as city staff determined LAE needed additional time to manage the completion of the design phase for the various waterline projects. Due to a recent departure of an associate civil engineer in the Capital Improvement Program Division of Public Works, staff recommends expanding LAE's contract by $100,000 to include managing the construction phase of the projects. This increase would cover the anticipated costs for LAE to provide construction management services through June 30th, 2018. Therefore, it is City staff's recommendation that the City Council approve an amendment to LAE's professional services agreement in the amount of $100,000 for a total contract amount not to exceed $347,600. I'd also like to note an error in item 13 of the City Council meeting agenda. It incorrectly states that the amendment to the professional services agreement with LAE and Associates would be in the amount of $340,000 for a total contract amount not to exceed $587,600. As stated earlier, the request before you today is actually for an additional $100,000, which would make the total contract amount not to exceed $347,600. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jesus. Questions? Comments from the public? Okay, then a motion would be appropriate.
Motion.
Motion from Councilman Elrod,
Second.
second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Yes.
and Mayor Uloa.
Yes. Okay, item number 14, city manager employment agreement. Oops, I was going to ask him to step out, but he already has. Boy, that was fast.
He's out in the parking lot
He said, I'm not going to sign this thing.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie and I conducted interviews with the council regarding city manager's performance and found him to be exemplary. And it's our request that the council approve a contract extension of 5 years for Matt. I think it's very, very critical that we maintain continuity. He's an excellent city manager, and I'm afraid if we don't do that, that one of our neighboring cities will snatch him away. And he's just too doggone good to lose. And so respectfully, I'm asking that the council support an extension to Mr. Ballantyne's contract to July 31st, 2023.
So moved. He deserves it.
Okay, a motion from Councilman Elrod,
Second.
second from Councilman George. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Elrod,
Yes.
Council,
Trying to figure out who I am.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howie,
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor Uloa.
Yes. Okay, thank you all very much. I think he's just done an outstanding job. And then I was going to ask Mr. Winder to ask Mr. Ballantyne back in, but he's already run out.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for Matt to get back.
One of those nights.
Okay, Matt.
It was close, Matt, but it was.
The interesting thing is when we hired him, he had no gray hair. So in a matter of just a few years, he's salt and pepper. It's going to be interesting to see in 5 years what Matt looks like. A little stressful. Okay, next on the agenda is the time and the place for all of us to report on our pre-scheduled council meeting assignment meetings that were held since the last regular council meeting and any other items of interest. Upon request by an individual council member, the city council may choose to take action on any of the subject matters listed below, but there's none listed below. So, first, I'd like everyone to please note that City Hall will be closed on Monday, February 19th, in observation of President's Day. Excuse me. City Hall will reopen the following day at its regular operating hours of 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Also, I'd like to give everyone an early reminder that some of our most anticipated events are coming up this next month. First, on Saturday, March 3rd, we'll have the Chino Youth Museum Derriere 5K, 10K, and Fun Run at Ayala Park, beginning at 8 a.m. And for more information, please call Chino Youth Museum at 909-334-3270. Second, on Saturday, March 10th, we'll have our Cultural Palooza event right here on City Hall lawn from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information on that event, please call the Chino Community Service Department at 909-334-3258. And lastly, we will be adjourning tonight's meeting in memory of Shirley Darlene Conley, Paul Hughes, and Donald Bremer, who all have sadly passed away. To offer a background on these gracious and special individuals, I'd first like to start with Darlene, who was born on March 31st, 1935 in Lansing, Michigan. After coming to California, Darlene married the love of her life, Dean Conley, official name Gerald, but we all called him Dean, in 1953, and started their beautiful family of 2 daughters, Sandra and Deanna, and 1 son, Gary. Beyond being a loving and caring wife and mother, Darlene worked at General Dynamics as an executive secretary until her retirement in 1992. That's actually where I met Darlene, was at General Dynamics. She'll always be remembered for her volunteerism, lovingness, kindness, positive attitude, and outgoing personality. She's survived by her husband, 2 daughters, 2 sisters, 9 grandchildren, and 13 great-grandchildren. And she will be deeply missed. She actually was Councilman Elrod's mother-in-law. She tried to keep him in line, but you know. Next, we'll also be adjourning in the memory of Paul A. Hughes, who passed away on January 20th, 2018. The 11th child out of 12 children, Paul was born on June 13th, 1925, in St. Louis, Missouri. Prior to settling in California, Paul enlisted in the U.S. Navy and served as a cook on PC-804, a submarine chaser in the South Pacific during World War II. Years later, in 1974, Paul purchased Flo's Airport Cafe. Everyone knows Flo's. And spent the next 40 years turning the restaurant into an iconic component of the Chino community. Beyond running Flo's, Paul also developed an outstanding reputation as a Tennessee walking horse trainer and maintaining stables in Long Beach and Whittier. Paul is survived by his wife Donna, sons Scott and Shaw, 6 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, and he also will be deeply missed. And lastly, Don Dwayne Bremer, age 83, passed away at his home in Oceanside, California on Sunday, January 14th, surrounded by his family. Born in Sioux, Iowa, in 1934, Don would lead a life of service that began in the U.S. Army during the Korean conflict with the 1st NIKE Guided Missile Group. Upon completing his service with the U.S. Army, Don earned a B.A. degree through Wayne State College in Nebraska, an M.A. degree in California State, Los Angeles, and a postgraduate work in Iowa State University and UC Riverside. With his education, Don served as an educator with the Chino Unified School District for 35 years and served as principal for the Boys Republic High School. Beyond being an educator, Don was also a Rotarian for both Chino and Big Bear, which also signified his dedication to service. He is survived by his wife Carol, sons Doug, Robert, and Kevin, 7 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. He was just an icon in the community. He and Earl's dad, Mr. Elrod, there were just so many that preceded us that really set the standards for the community of Chino, and all of these people will be greatly missed.
He was pretty tough.
He was
As a principal.
Yes, he was. He was a wonderful
He threw me
man.
out one time.
He threw you out?
Yeah, I got in a fight and he got in the middle of it, and the rest was history.
Seriously?
Yeah. I can tell you exactly where the buses were loading and everything.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. I think the statute of limitations run out. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He was a very, very nice man. I attended a whole ton of events. I'm going to go through them very, very quickly. 17th was the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. The 18th was Watermaster Advisory Committee and the Recharge Improvement Plan Committee quarterly meeting. 24th was West Valley Mosquito Vector Control. 25th, Watermaster Board of Directors. On the 27th, I attended Darlene's Celebration of Life at Central Basco, which was very nice and very well attended.
Over 200, yeah.
Over 200 people were there. The 31st was the Storage Management Plan Workshop and the Sphere RFP meeting with Councilman Tom Howie and our city manager. On February 1st, Water Bank Workshop at Cucamonga Valley Water District. Also attended Bob Bodis's retirement. He is really going to be missed. When I mentioned the maintenance staff, especially for Ayala Park, Bob was just outstanding when it came to servicing the public and our public facilities. Oh my gosh, he's going to be missed. Because he didn't want a big retirement and he didn't want to do anything publicly. He told me at his small retirement party that if he had to come to a council meeting for that, he would have cried. And he didn't want to do that, so such a special man.
Where's the chief when you need her?
Right.
Yeah.
Also on February 1st was, now, Earl, you're going to be sorry you missed this, the Sewage Policy and Technical Committee joint meeting on the regional contract for IUA.
How are we doing on that, by the way?
We're
It's only
going.
been 5 years you've worked on it.
Well, and it's not up until, I think it's 2023, so we have a ways to go. It's in negotiation. I also attended the Pomona State of the City address provided by Mayor Tim Sandoval. He did a really good job and is working really, really hard to turn Pomona around to be the beautiful city that it used to be. On February 2nd, I attended the senior birthday event with Councilman Rodriguez. On the 3rd, it was the Run for Russ. What a great turnout. There were over 1,200 participants. It grows every year. How many exactly? 1248. And I think Chief Comstock will give us a little bit more detailed report on that. But it was a phenomenal day. The weather was absolutely perfect. Of course, Kiwanis was out there cooking pancakes and sausages and stuff. That turned out really nice. And it's wonderful to see that Russ has not been forgotten. And then on the 5th was the State of the City video discussion with our city staff and the company that we hired to do the video. So that's all I did in the last 2 weeks.
Good.
Plus went on vacation for a little bit. So, Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Boy, you get to have all the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the sewage
That's why she gets
policy.
paid the big bucks.
23.5 cents an hour.
That's right.
I know.
Anyway, well, all of us have been busy, but first of all, I'd make a comment about the Don Lugo football team. You go to one of the games and you watch them on the field, they don't look as big as when they're standing right in front of you. Boy, what are these kids eating? Oh, yeah, we have this. Yeah, he's going to Oregon. He's an offensive tackle, and he's large. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have to see over at Disneyland. I'm sure he can find anybody when he walks around.
Yeah.
So there's some advantages there. I've attended a number of meetings, Water Facilities Authority and Chino DeSalto Authority meetings and board meetings. Let's see what else. Chamber of Commerce.
See, it's
getting catchy up here. Chamber of Commerce mixer at Chino Commercial Bank was really well attended. I couldn't believe how many people, the businesses showed up for that. That was a nice event. We had the investment meeting at City Hall to go over our investments. That was on the 31st. Another CDA board meeting and the Russ Miller Run, which is just you couldn't ask for a better day. Although I'm sure in the sun it gets a little warm about 8:30 running. I'm sure the overcast is a little easier to run when you're going to run 3 miles. You probably don't want as much sun on you. The other thing is the highlight of January though was at the police department, Sergeant Mena's Walk of Honor. That is just a fantastic event to see all the personnel lined up in uniform, and then when you get a Walk of Honor retirement, you have to walk. They announce that this is the end of your watch, and you get to walk and shake everybody's hand all the way through those employees. And it usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes, but it's very moving. And Sergeant Mena is going to be missed by the police department. Maybe Karen can mention that just when you get up here to talk. He was a great officer, very much involved as a historian of the police department, working with the museum, and just a super guy. And we're going to miss him as one of our city employees, but that's always a very moving experience to see that his final day with the police department. And that's all I
Hopefully
got.
he'll still stay involved.
He's going to stay involved with the
History,
museum
yeah,
and hang out.
museum.
He lives in Chino Hills, I believe, so he's close by. So that concludes my report.
Okay, Councilman Elrod.
Yes, I just want to make a comment about Bob Botus. I used to call him Flash because you'd see him go by and he's pretty short,
Yep.
just the top of his head go by. And so he made the mistake of saying he's a member of Western Hills Country Club.
Your mic over.
Was it not on?
No, it's on. Just pull it over. Let
No.
it- Now you turned it off. Now turn it on.
Now it's my turn to,
Now just pull it over a teeny.
that better?
Yes, that's
Try to hold it like this?
yes.
So anyway, I said, I thought they had a height requirement at Western Hills Country Club. And he says, well, they do. When I went in the restroom, I was the tallest guy, so I joined. He always has a sense of humor. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And then I did something different for the Russ run this time. Instead of being on the starting line, I went down to the corner of Schaefer and Central.
Oh,
And when they start coming, and you can hear these guys doing their chants, and then they can turn that corner, and you see dogs and wheelchairs.
Stubby was there.
Stubby
Stubby was in it.
went around the corner on one wheel.
Wow, Stubby.
He was going. And it was so interesting to see the different kind of people running their dogs and kids and strollers, and it was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was really neat. Perfect day for it.
Yep.
So it was a fun time.
Yeah.
That concludes my report.
And I apologize, I didn't get the young man's name, but I think he was 13 years old that won the race. Beat
Really?
everybody. Yeah, I think it was 13.
He was scared.
Incredible.
That's why.
He was scared?
Yeah, all those
He
people
trembled
behind
on.
you.
Councilman George?
Thank you. Let's see, on the 17th and 18th of January, Councilman Rodriguez and I attended the League of California Cities New Council and Mayor Academy in Sacramento. Great sessions and seminars on the Brown Act, social media, and others. It was just really, really well done. On the 25th, I spoke at Pizza and Politics, the luncheon over at the Carolyn Owens Center. I also attended Sergeant Frank Mena's retirement ceremony, and you did great. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. It was very moving. Great job, Karen. And then also the chamber mixer after that to try to warm up at the Chino Commercial Bank. And then on the 26th, another really interesting meeting. Quite a few of us, the chief and I and several others attended the CIM meeting regarding some issues around the escapee. And I'll leave it at that because we're working on that. On the 27th, Darlene Connolly's Celebration of Life event, and just wanted to, and it was very well attended and very well done, and just wanted to, my condolences to Sandra and you on that. On the 31st, Tom mentioned we'd had the investment committee meeting with Tom Matt and Rob Burns on CalPERS issues. The run for Russ. Now, Earl may have been down at the corner there, but I was able to see everybody take off and come back. Cheer them as they went out and cheer them as they came back. That's as far as I got. So that's, but it was a great job. Good job, Stubby. The, see, in that evening, the Knights of Columbus spaghetti dinner at St. Margaret Mary's. And then this morning, there's a great event at Plains of Fame Museum that, for the vets, the first Tuesday of every month at the museum. And the Starbucks at the corner of Schaefer and Euclid is now sponsoring that event with coffee and donuts. And it's just it's moving to listen to the stories from some of the vets that attend that.
Is that open to the public, Gary?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think, well, they didn't, there wasn't anybody there taking anything, so I think you can go in on it.
What time is that?
9 a.m.
And it's
9
the
a.m.
first
first Tuesday of every month, and it's like I said, it's really well done. That's it.
Okay, Councilman Rodriguez?
Okay, thank you. I have quite a few, but I'm going to go really quick.
Now.
Go concise. I promise you, Earl. So, okay. Likewise, I attended the California League of Cities up there with Earl. I mean, with
I wasn't there.
Gary. You weren't there. I had you in my mind, though.
Uh-oh.
But it was very interesting. Good attendance. A lot of people from all over. January 23rd, I was invited to the greet and meet for candidate Gil Cisneros, who's running for Congress for the 39th District. It was interesting because his guest speaker was NASA astronaut Captain Kelly Giffords, whose wife had been shot in the head back a few years ago in Tucson. So he spoke about, we're never going to get rid of Amendment 2. It's always going to be there. But this thing, he spoke about the idea of sensible control for ammunition and so forth. So it was interesting. Candidate Cisneros spoke on the idea of education, careers for the populace and housing and so forth. So it was very interesting, very positive. January 25th, I attended a greet and meet for candidate Antonio Villagrosa for governor. And he too spoke very highly on the idea of introducing education as a primary focus, and likewise also reintroducing city redevelopment funding for all cities. January 27th, I attended the Ontario Museum History of Art, which was this month is the celebration for the African American art and history. So very, very interesting. They've redeveloped the old Ontario courthouse, and it's pretty nice. Quite a few people, I'd say probably over 200. January 28th, I was invited to attend the Bass meeting in the morning, and the Bass community is planning a 50th celebration for their presence in the city of Chino. So it was good to hear their thoughts, and I support them, and I believe other councilmen will be supporting that too. So I'll be working with them when they have the months to come. Okay. Let's see. January 28th, I attended the interfaith relationship building between St. Margaret Mary Parish and the Muslim community, which was very, very positive because it's the idea of developing relationships that show that peaceful relationships and interaction with communication can work. So it was very good. I was very enlightened with that. February 1st, I attended the SCAG, which I am a part of the Community Economic and Human Development Committee. 4 keys, and I'm just going to name them without going into discussion. Number 1 would be that there was discussion on the Governor's Office of Planning and Research proposal for SB 743, which is the implementation of guidelines and technical advisory. Second one discussion was guidelines implementation, implementing the California Environmental Quality Act, which involves the environment and so forth, air and water and so forth. Number 3, development, maintaining, and promoting the utilization of state-of-the-art models for information systems and for communication technologies throughout the state. Next one was the Prop 64. Many communities within California are taking advantage of the idea of the commercial cannabis activity, but there's specific guidelines that they're following that's going to affect everyone in the state. And the last one, which was interesting, and I did get more information from Matt, our city manager, is that SCAG has a program that they talk about the earthquake preparedness initiative that they have throughout the state. Speaking with Matt on Monday, he clarified to me that, you know, we were not listed because Chino does have an individual, Wolf, I believe?
Chris Wolf.
That is able to look at what we have for preparation of, in case we're going to have an earthquake. Well, we're going to have an earthquake, what I've been reading. And it's not just the water infrastructure that we have under the city, but it's going to involve also the other infrastructure such as gas, first responder ability to respond because transportation will be affected, communication. So for me and all of us, I think it was very interesting. But Matt did a good job in explaining that to me, that we have a very, very good system already in place. February 1st, after the SCAG meeting, Mayor Garcetti from Los Angeles addressed the SCAG committee and spoke about the jobs and the good job that they're doing in the various committees and how up to date they are in informing the various committees as to where the state is going in the direction. February 1st, again, I attended with Eunice the Pomona State of the City, and that was very, very good in the sense that the mayor spoke about all the various initiatives that they're implementing to improve not only the structure and the different various plans that the city has for including all the citizens' involvement, like, for example, cleaning the alleyways and so forth. So it was good to hear from him. February 3rd, I attended also the Run for Russ, and tons of people. I did speak to an individual, former USMC Marine, who introduced me to his service dogs, and they were pretty neat. I mean, it was pretty neat to listen to what he was saying. Again, February 3rd in the afternoon, I went out to Pomona, and I was invited to listen to the NAACP and the Latino Roundtable, where they discussed their monthly meetings concerning education, health, safety, first responders' abilities to help the city, and the progress that they're moving into, inclusively of different diversities and so forth. A lot of unity. February 3rd and 4th, this past weekend, there's an initiative of voter registration, immigration documentation, support and information at St. Margaret Mary that I attended all the masses. Then again on February 4th, I went out to Chino Hills where I was invited to attend the Chinese New Year celebration. And this year is the year of the dog. And we must understand for the Chinese, they have different years for different animals and so forth. So it happens to be the dog. And the dog for the Chinese represents hope, change, progressive, innovative ideas, and even Opie's. Okay. And let's see. January 21st to the 8th, my wife and I did host two Chinese students that attended Chino Hills, 14 and 16-year-old. They left this past Sunday. And then on Saturday, we are hosting now at this time a Chinese educator. And we talk about ourselves having really big schools. I asked Mr. Wong, well, how big is your school in Beijing? He says, well, it's about 10,000 for the high school. And how many people live in Beijing? He said, oh, about 40 or 50 million. You know. And he looked at my house. He says, well, you must be a millionaire. I said, no, I'm not. You know. So I have like 10 jobs. You know. So anyway, they basically have sky rises. And they're apartments. They live in apartments that are approximately 1,000 meters square, and that's how they live. I think, I read, interestingly, and this is the last, I'll be closing that, Al McCombs wrote an article about a couple of weeks ago concerning the year of Chinese New Year for the dog. And I think it's important to really think about what he wrote, the idea that change can be good if it's done properly. And as I've been saying in the past, the OPI's opportunities for improvement is a continuous thing that we need to look at as a group, as a city. So I think the article is well written, and I applaud Mr. McCombs for writing that. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, City Manager Ballantyne?
Yes.
With us for 5 more years.
Yes, thank you. Well, I do want to thank the council and this community for extending my contract. I appreciate that. Certainly a pleasure to serve this community and also live in this community. I too want to congratulate Bob Bodas and Frank Mena on their recent retirements. It's well deserved. And then finally, I kind of want to highlight the Kiwanis Club. They're having this Thursday, starting this Thursday, they're doing their theater show at the 7th Street Theater, and I would encourage folks to enjoy that. Our own community development director, Nick Ligori, has a lead role in that event, and in fact, you could tell he's already trimmed his beard, and he's gearing up for this. So actually, he's practicing over at the theater right as we speak.
He's rehearsing.
So if you'd like to see him in action, I would encourage folks to go out. It goes from February 8th through Sunday. That concludes my report.
Sauter and I were at Riverside Grill. This guy's waving at me. I go, you know, where the hell is that? You know, that was Nick. He had shaved and pruned up, you know. Looked good.
Mr. Winder.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just one quick clarifying announcement. During the earlier study session today, when we talked about Measure M, I discussed in my presentation an earlier memo that we'd prepared for the council. I wasn't sure if it had been prepared for a closed session or just as an advisory piece, and your city manager had his staff pull the memo. It was a July memo in which you asked us to take a preliminary look at 2 issues. 1, the impact of Measure M on a LAFCO annexation, and 2, whether Measure M matters could be decided by district election, council district election. And we did prepare a memo, and it was one of thousands of pages that you get from the city staff all the time. And we're pleased now that you've authorized it to make that available to anyone interested in reading it. But it was not for a closed session. I misspoke on that. So I want to clarify the record for that.
Good.
And beyond that, it was a pleasure to be here with you tonight, and look forward. I enjoy my service with your planning department. You've got outstanding planners and a great planning commission, and it's a pleasure to work with you. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Chief Constop.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for having me up here this evening. I'd like to address 4 quick issues. I did attend the meeting at CIM along with Councilman George and several members of my staff as part of our assessment of the recent prison escape. I also want to address, I know, Mayor, I also recently worked with you to correspond to a constituent by the name of Mr. Maldonado regarding some of his concerns regarding the escape itself. Councilman George and I took a lot of note of several things that are happening at the institution, which we will stay on top of from a public safety perspective. But I also want to thank Assemblyman Rodriguez. He also authored a letter to Scott Kernan, the Secretary of Corrections, on our behalf about some of our concerns about the deteriorating state of the California Institute for Men, which we believe likely contributed to the escape of the inmate from that incident. So I want to assure the public that we'll stay in the forefront of our concerns, as well as any other activity that's occurring at CIM in the future, and we'll keep you posted as we learn more about that and different things in the governor's budget as far as, different proposals that could come to that institution. But I think Councilman George would agree that there are plenty of capital improvement projects and improvements that need to be done to the institution in order to bring it to a suitable state. So that will be an ongoing issue for us, as well as internal perspective as far as training and different training opportunities for my personnel as well as CIM, for future instances of escape in order for us to improve our performance moving forward. Again, a lot of things that were done right that evening, but when you take a look at things, there's always things to be done better in the future. That being said, I'll move on to Sergeant Mena's retirement. It's a great tradition that we have at the Chino Police Department. It's called the Walk of Honor. As you know, Frank has well over 30 years of police service. Came on as a very, very young man at the age of 19. In fact, I commented that as a sitting active duty police chief, I would not support that thought today, but Frank was certainly ready for it at the young age of 19, and he's just done a great job. He actually had to have some surgery on his shoulder, immediately following his retirement. He's recovering at home. His wife and son, of course, Matthew, are happy to have him there, and he's doing much better. Thank you. We lost another member of our department. We lost Canine Greif this past week. He was actually in service with Lieutenant Kelleher at one point and retired from the service of Officer Heidelberg. So it was a little bit hard for Officer Heidelberg to lose his police service dog, but Greif has been retired for a while. So, in fact, I have a new police service dog to introduce to the council by the name of Canine Cobra. She is our first female police service dog. You know, I'm an advocate of diversifying our police force, as you know. So Cobra will come and visit here shortly. She's finishing up some training with Officer Rowland, who is handling her. Russ Miller 5K, what a fabulous day. That has turned into just an amazing community event. I had the honor of actually sitting on the panel to first bring that to the community along with several of our employees, after Russ's passing, by Mr. Martinez and that drunk driving incident. And it's just turned into a great event for us. So many people come up to me and talk about just how nice that event is. And as you know, the Orange County Sheriff's Office and several other academies, I actually was fortunate enough to go to the Orange County Sheriff's Academy just a few years ago. They selected Russ as part of, to honor him for their fallen officer pride run. And I ran that run with them around the El Toro, as you know, air station there.
Well, you ran Saturday, too.
Yeah, I ran Saturday as well. Yes, in fact, most of our Baker to Vegas team was there training. And regardless of how hard I try, I still am not able to beat Mr. Barr in this 5K run. He's quite the competitor out there. You're right, Earl. He did go around the corner on one tire. I saw it. Beginning to wonder if he's got some nitrous, over there. But and then last but not least, we have just issued, as many of you may have read in the Chino Champion, our 3rd edition of our police trading cards. They're very popular. They're a great community outreach event. We published 98 cards, including some in memoriam for some of our past employees. Russ is on one of them. And so I would like to encourage kids and people to come up to our police officers. I'm sorry I'm having a rookie moment. I don't have any with me tonight, but I'll be sure to stock up. But our officers have them, and they're anxious to get them out into the community. And they're just a great component for us to get to know each other. And I hope the kids have a good time collecting them. I was sharing at the meeting when we were announcing them for some of our sponsors. When we were in the building here adjacent to City Hall, we actually had kids waiting by that back gate for us to come out. Waiting, literally waiting. They were so savvy, they figured out the gate code. It wasn't hard.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, they figured out the gate code, and they would literally meet us at the back door. You go walking out, cards, okay, yeah, cards, got it. But please, engage our police officers in the collection of those. It's a great moment for us as a police department. And I'm very, very proud of several of our employees who worked very, very hard to reinstate that program. It's not an easy thing to do. That's the culmination of about a 1-year project. And thank you to our sponsors. We raised about $29,000 to print all those cards. There was no impact to the general fund. That all came through sponsors. So thank you to those sponsors in the city of Chino that gave to that program. That's all my comments tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, I think one thing that's unfair is that we don't get any of the cards.
I'll be happy to get you some of those cards if you have a special request. Yes, anybody in particular. So
Okay.
Karen cheats, though. She puts her high school picture on it.
yes.
High school.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, Captain Bassard's here this evening. He's going to be taking up leg 20 at Baker to Vegas for us this year, so he'll be crossing the finish line for us. He's in training. He ran the race as well. So I've been reassigned to leg 19. So I'll be happy to hand off the baton to Keith and have him take us across the finish line. Most of us were there. The team captains were paying close attention to our mile minutes. So we got an inspection on Saturday at the race.
Terrific. Tom?
Karen, was Mr. Barr cited for excessive speed during the race, or did you guys let him off the hook?
It's a closed route, sir, so we're unable to force the provisions of the vehicle code on a closed route. So,
Here we go.
Yeah, so as you know, there's no traffic collisions, no traffic violations, sir, because we had the proper permits.
Gary?
You have two things. I watched him at the finish line, and man, you talked about nitrous oxide. He was flying through that finish line. Great job, Toby. But I did have one question on Sergeant Mena. The comment that you made that now, the way things are going, you wouldn't give a 19-year-old a gun. Like you did when you give it to them?
I didn't say that, 19-year-old gun, because obviously the 19-year-old could own the gun legally. However, I'm just talking about police powers would be maybe a little premature. You know, Frank was a sworn police officer at 19, and I can understand that. I was a reservist at the young age of 20. The job is just much more complex. I mean, I would never say never, because there's always that one exception to the rule, right? But Frank was, I'm sure, just right for it. He grew up wanting to be a police officer. He was a police explorer himself for many, many years.
Yeah,
And
he
Frank
was right, but
certainly
it
ready
was
for
a great comment about
Yeah.
not giving a 19-year-old a gun. It was-
Yes, of course. Just being wise about not just the gun, but police powers to go along with it. It's a very complex job, as you know today. A lot of responsibility goes along with it. I know there's agencies out there that hire police officers at the age of 19 and a half. A lot of times they work in custody for a period of time before they go out in the street. So it does still happen. I was just making a little bit light of what a great accomplishment that was for Frank at such a young age.
He was a great guy, and he
Really is.
certainly suffered his share of tragedy.
Yes, he has. He's
So
been, yeah.
I hope his retirement goes well for him.
And he was so grateful for just the tremendous outpouring of support that this community had given to him and his family. Frank is a guy that will spend the rest of his life, trust me, trying to repay this community. And I told him, Frank, that's not necessary. You just need to say thank you. As you know, his wife is a teacher in the school district, and the district, this community, so many people helped him through a very, very difficult past 6 to 8 months. Been really, really hard for Frank and his family, but I think this is a good move for him, and you're correct. He is a great department historian. He's going to stay on as a department historian. He's also going to help us run the youth academy at our local elementary schools as a mentor to young men and women so that they can have a positive interaction with policing. As you know, we want police officers to touch our children in this community at elementary, junior high, and high school. And Frank is going to help us sustain that program.
That's good. Valuable man.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very
Karen.
much.
Tim, Chief Shackelford, anything this evening? No reports, Madam Mayor. Okay, then with that, apparently we have to recess to closed session. Okay, Mr. Winder.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The City Council is going to go into closed session to consider one item of real property negotiations. The authority to hold this closed session is Government Code Section 54956.8. The property in question is 6210 Riverside Drive in the city of Chino. The assessor parcel number is listed on the closed session agenda. Agency negotiators are the city manager and the assistant city manager. The parties to the negotiation are Castillo LLC, and we will be discussing with the council in closed session price and terms of payment. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Mayor.
Jeez, that's two. That's two.
In my defense, the Carson mayor is a male.
Wow. All right. Once again, we're going to recess into closed session, and I do again mention that we are going to adjourn in the memory of Darlene Conley, Paul Hughes, and Don Brenner. Thank you this evening. Jeez, two. Oh my.